Those Fantasy Dudes podcast with your hosts, Jonathan and Jake.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Those Fantasy Dudes podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan, joined by Jake. Not Jesus.
What?
I'm not calling you Jesus. You can't just... You're not... I'm going to make it so you can't edit the document. I think that's fair. You're not a... It didn't work for me last week. It's not working for me
But the last week's was correct.
Literally at 1 minute
Last week's was true.
Yeah.
I am the Michael Jordan of fantasy football, and you are a big stupid idiot.
I was a big stupid idiot to start Boston Scott in all my leagues,
Boston,
that's for sure.
I don't gotta say it.
Or as I call him, Philadelphia Scott.
Wow.
I've been waiting to make that joke. And
knocked that one out of the park, Jonathan.
Yeah. Isn't that a good
That's
joke?
good stuff.
Philadelphia Scott.
Scott.
He just comes to the games completely covered in drizzled cheese and steak.
Ugh. What does that imply? What is a Boston then? If that implies that a Philadelphia means he covers himself in cheese and steak, was he cover himself in Dunkin's?
I don't know. Does he just come in like, I was going to say like cigarette butts or something like that. Just like
Red Sox hats and threats of violence.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Now that we've disparaged an entire town or two towns.
I love New England. Philadelphia is kind of trash.
Philadelphia's sports fans throw batteries at people, so I don't really think they're... I don't think anybody's coming out of the woodwork.
Like, I've been to the airport in Philadelphia, and I think that's enough for me to want to never go to actual Philadelphia.
Yeah,
your airport sucks.
I've been to real Philadelphia. I don't think you're really missing out on... It was cool. I got to run up the Rocky Stairs.
Oh, that's like the only thing I would want to do.
It was cool, but it also takes you about 4 minutes.
4 minutes?
Well, no.
Are you sure?
You get there and you look around, and then you do the and then you run up the stairs, and then you turn around. And
I'm gonna make it a thing to like. I want to go there and not do that. Like, I'm just gonna go there, look at it, and be like, "No, I'm."
You should go there and take a wheelchair up it or something.
I'll just take a sled down.
You should take a bicycle up and like full speed go down it.
Me and Antonio Brown take bikes and just try to race down the staircase.
Yeah, Antonio Brown loses because he throws it at a mailman.
Anyways, we talk about the NFL news. There's a lot of it this week, so bear with us. A lot of injuries, and we basically talk about our various leagues, Keeper, Redraft, and Dynasty, and sometimes our work league, which Jake lost.
Why would you say that now?
Also,
what do you...
Because it's funny. I don't know. I like when you lose.
Well, don't lose a lot. So.
We answer your questions, which we got a few this week. Thanks for submitting them, Tyler and Thomas. Talk shit about our league mates, and that's the show. That's what we do. That is the Those Fantasy Dudes podcast.
Nice. Is that your elevator pitch?
Yeah, that's how I deter people from ever picking this up and giving us money.
Like, hey, thank you for letting me know I do not want to invest in this. It's been great.
Yeah. Cool. Also, if you record podcasts, you cannot be a Nielsen family. I learned that today.
Unrelated, they fucking hate John, and that's what they told him.
They saw my face and they were like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah, we normally don't do this, but I don't know. Do you do anything? And you're like, yeah, I do podcasts. And he's like, yeah, sorry, you can't do it if you do podcasts.
Yeah, if anything, we did gain a listener, but I'm not a Nielsen family now, which is me and Molly were really excited for it, and it did not happen. Molly's my cat.
The people were wondering that. Yes. I think we've talked about Molly before, though.
She did love the Nielsen man. Like, she was all over him. It was really funny,
That's pretty funny. I think she's just all over anybody because you don't love her.
Oh, she was just so happy to have somebody other than me here because I'm just such a fucking annoying asshole all the time.
Well, she knows what she can get out of you.
Oh, yeah. Treats like once every 3 days if she's lucky. Yeah. Anyways, you can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, at Those Fantasy Dudes, thosefantasydudespodcast.com. You can go ahead and send your questions via the contact page on our website or our email, thosefantasydudes@gmail.com, or Instagram if you prefer, which is where we've been getting them so far in our stories. Really appreciate all you people responding. Thank you. Check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podchaser. We are now on Podchaser, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Castbox, Reason Radio, Public, Breaker, Pocket Cast, and Anchor is our host platform. If you want to make a podcast, Anchor is pretty dope. Quick little podcast news here. We are going to switch this show to Thursday release as opposed to Wednesday. I think it'll be better for all of us in terms of recording schedule and mainly just getting you guys more up-to-date NFL news. more detailed news, because I found, at least today, I've been looking at all the news being released, and granted, it's a very news heavy week, but Wednesday is when a lot of shit comes out, so it just makes a lot more sense for us to give you more detailed discussions rather than a bunch of speculation on Tuesday. So that's what we're going to do. Jake, is that cool with you?
No, I will be recording and moving to my own podcast on Tuesdays.
Okay, what's your podcast going to be called?
That Fantasy Dude.
Yeah, I'm going to make sure I take that so you can't have that. That would be so depressing as just one dude. I'm that fantasy dude and nobody's listening to me again.
We have done no actual discussion about football. It has been exclusively...
No, we're 10 minutes in and have not talked about anything. Cool.
That's good, because there's not a lot of news at all.
Oh, God. Okay, Jake, why don't we get into the NFL news and injury updates?
NFL news and injury updates.
First one, Odell Beckham Jr., unclaimed
on the waivers. No teams wanted to pick up his $7.5 million option, which would have paid him for the rest of this season. So, 7 games. Yeah. If that, maybe 8 games. $1 million
a game. There's not a wide receiver out there right now that's worth that.
I doubt he would even be eligible to play this week even. I feel like that's probably not happen regardless. But he's shown major interest in Seattle, Green Bay, New England, and he's had conversations with Kansas City and New Orleans. Right now, most likely Green Bay.
I don't think it's... I'm pretty sure it's most likely New Orleans. I know the Patriots are pursuing him really hard.
Belichick wants him.
Yeah.
Belichick has said he wants Odell, which it's very typical for him to go after one of these older kind of
studs
receivers that don't shut their mouth.
Yeah.
Trying to cause controversy and stuff.
Wasn't he?
Yeah. He went after Antonio Brown. I mean, of course.
Yeah. This makes...
Brandon Lloyd. They've gone after a lot of kind of like older receivers that were really good at one point, and I'm not saying Odell isn't, but I kind of don't want him on the Patriots. Like, it's just a distraction, kind of like Cam Newton was at that point. I don't know. It's just...
I think you don't want him until he goes out there and makes a stellar catch, and then you're like, oh, okay, yeah.
Devontae Adams has said that he hopes that Odell can come to Green Bay, and he said that Odell can have a home there.
Huh.
But they want to pay him absolute shit, which is the veteran minimum, which I don't even know how much that is.
I think it's
$175,000
actually.
That's it?
I think.
That is way lower than I thought, but I guess believable.
I'm sorry. No, it's 66,000. 66. I'm sorry. 666,000.
Wow, that's a very specific number.
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine they increase it every year by some percentage. So
the Packers have also been fined $300,000 for COVID violations of the NFL and the NFL Players Association protocols. Aaron Rodgers and Allen Lazard, very different, each fined just under $15,000 for not following protocols. And dude, just wear a fucking mask. How hard is it? You're a overpaid NFL football player, and you're gonna maybe miss time and get fined because you won't wear a fucking mask in your facility.
Did you see Shailene Woodley just being mean to that random guy that people thought was Aaron Rodgers on her story for no reason?
Wait,
yeah,
what? No.
She was like, she basically took this picture that people were saying was Aaron Rodgers out like with COVID doing stuff, and she was like, basically said this guy was fat, like fatter than Aaron, and that Aaron had bigger feet, but she said it in like the most awkward way possible, like implying that Aaron Rodgers has a big dick and big feet, and it was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, this dude was just out for coffee, and now he's on Shailene Woodley's story getting fucking made to seem like he's got a small dick and he's fat. Like, dude, that guy gets home from coffee and he's just like, what the fuck happened?
What the fuck is going on here? Why is Shailene Woodley putting me on blast?
What did I do?
Fuck? Oh man, I love Aaron Rodgers on my fantasy team, but as a human being, he can just fuck off. He just seems like absolute garbage.
So the dude was on on his cell phone. Somebody commented and was like,
"Is it still the other guy?"
Still the other guy. So the dude that got the picture taken of him, it was on his cell phone, and somebody commented and was like, "Well, did he say anything like hi, I love you, mom? Like that would immediately let us know."
Because he has a horrible relationship with his family. Yeah. Yeah.
We really made that punchline hit. Thanks, John.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry. I just remember
Yeah.
when his brother was on The Bachelor and Jordan Rogers was just a very big storyline of how Aaron's a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure he like asked
Well-
Aaron for money or something.
I probably would have.
I wouldn't.
What? You wouldn't ask Aaron Rodgers for money if he was your brother?
No, I mean that's what. Do you ask? Well, you
I
don't
don't
have siblings. Never mind.
No, I don't. I'm an only child.
Says a lot.
Hence how I react to most conversations. Okay. Yeah, but basically what that means is if Aaron doesn't play, there is a very small chance, if Russell doesn't play, which it looks like he's going to, that the game would be Geno Smith versus Jordan Love, which makes me want to vomit in my mouth.
Yeah, that's pretty awful.
Like that, as opposed to Russell Wilson versus Aaron Rodgers. Like, could you imagine a worse alternative? Like,
Yeah,
nope.
that's pretty brutal.
So, and that the ruined fantasy value of people like DK Metcalf,
Yeah.
Tyler Lockett, Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon can go fuck off. But
he was part of why I lost. We had a great
he's
week.
been pissing me off.
Oh man.
Yeah. The Saints hosted tryouts for Kerryon Johnson and 2 other low-profile RBs. This does pose the question of Alvin Kamara's health. He was not at practice today. He apparently has a knee injury.
I did not
That is
know.
a very small amount of information. This just came out.
Yeah. This is the first piece of news that's made me want to go check the waivers.
I've already picked up Mark Ingram in most leagues because of this.
Did you pick him up in Sam's?
No.
Is he available?
You can have him.
Yeah, I would have
probably-
been real pissed if you picked him up right now after telling me to be off my phone.
No, he's on Sam's team. Don't even try.
Yeah. I see.
I did pick him up in my I have him in the Dynasty League. I picked him up in my work league, and I picked him up in my Yahoo winners because no one fucking seems to pay attention to any of those. But
Yeah.
dude, I want to say in my work league, I made 4 waiver claims, got all 4 of them. I have the
Jeez.
10th priority out of 10 people. Like I just
People are just checking out.
they suck.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, everyone sucks in that league except Matt.
You know what I've realized is that I like being in less leagues with better people, but everybody's like grown around us as players. So
I do love the competition, but it also does feel nice knowing that I have an almost guaranteed win in a money league this year.
that is pretty nice. I do. Yeah,
So I mean,
I do like
That's what it is.
I do like being at the. I'm in contention for all of my leagues except for Sam's.
I'm in first place in 3 out of my 5 leagues, and those are all pay leagues.
I'm in first for 2 of them.
All right, the Jaguars have signed veteran John Brown and Jordan Wilkins to their practice squad.
Okay.
The Bucks signed Darren Fells to their practice squad. So I'm really concerned about Gronk. I don't have him in anything, but I really do think this says that, like, hey, Gronkowski, you punctured your lung, broke your ribs, and got back spasms.
done.
You're old
Like,
as shit.
I think I think he could see some play in the postseason, but I
Yeah.
think why? You don't need him. You guys like
Well, I mean, they kind of do, though, because, Antonio Brown, who knows when he's going to come back. He just got out of a walking boot. Chris Godwin he has a foot injury right now. It really is just, and they actually signed Brashad Perriman to the practice squad. They're definitely worried about their star players. So
yeah, I think they're just putting on some insurance. I mean, I don't know. I
yeah,
I
that's
don't
all.
know. Gronk's been gone for so long that you have had to make some sort of adjustment at this point to, slot in for him. So I just do not count on him being back. If that means you feel like you have to drop him, then drop him.
Yeah,
That's it. Like if you have space and you don't feel anybody on the waivers is better, then keep him. But
it's hard to have such a question mark on your roster right now when, like, those bench spots are so precious with all the injuries that we're dealing with. You very well might have to drop him. And fortunately, there is a lot of other breakout tight ends that have come out this year that you probably already have on your team at this point if you had Gronk.
yeah, you've made some moves.
So-
You probably got like a Schultz or something.
Schultz or even the Moose.
The Moose is loose.
The Moose. Mike, the Hall of Famer White, will start this week against the Bills.
Yes.
How do you feel about Zach Wilson right now, dude? I mean, I
love that I was right about the position. I love that I knew, like, at the beginning of the season, I was like, well, Zach Wilson's looked pretty good, and the opportunity is there. A new coach is there. There's great talent on that team, And I just like feeling right, because I hate to say it, but I don't think Zach Wilson's that good.
Wow. Okay. Well, are you saying Tony Romo was wrong?
I'm saying Tony Romo might have been kind of wrong. I think Zach Wilson's really good. I think Zach Wilson's incredibly athletic individual, and I think that he has a pretty good chance to be a solid quarterback. I just hope.
The thing is,
What?
like, there's been so many quarterbacks that were drafted this year, and some of them are going to be duds. I think Zach Wilson may very well be that dud.
Yeah.
Is what
unfortunately,
I'm saying,
it's you can't. Not every single first round pick quarterback is going to be Patrick Mahomes or
most of them
right.
won't.
So
that
is the unfortunate part. I'll tell you who did look amazing though. Justin Fields. He looked really good this last week.
That throw to Darnell Mooney in the corner of the end zone
that was
on
nice.
the run.
I'm really glad. I picked him up right before Monday night's game because I forgot why, but
Fields or
Fields.
Mooney? Fields, yeah.
Because I needed streamers for going into the playoffs. So
just imagine being the Panthers and passing on Justin Fields and Mac Jones.
Yeah, Mac Jones has been looking great too.
Jordan Howard signed to the 53-man roster for Philadelphia. I already thought he was. I guess they activated him before the last week's game, but as a person who started Boston Scott in 2 or almost 3 leagues, I think, seeing Jordan Howard get 17 carry for 71 and a touchdown made me want to off myself.
Yeah.
So, yep. Ben Roethlisberger says he hurt his shoulder in September, so maybe that's why he's shit. What do you think, Jake?
I don't know. I think he's just not getting have it anymore. Just fell off.
Do you think it's because he hurt his shoulder, or do you think that's a sorry excuse for him being terrible at football now?
I think he's older, and I think he's surrounded by. I mean, he played a much more physical game than Tom Brady has, even though they've been in the league like not an insanely different amount of time. He played more physical.
Came in 07,
Yeah.
I think, or 08 maybe.
I thought it was a little bit earlier.
Same year as Rodgers.
Yeah.
Same year as
So-
he actually got drafted before Rodgers. So
I mean, it's not surprising that they're going to fall off. It's somebody who's bound to be first. We've kind of seen, I don't know, the writing's on the walls, at least from my perspective. It's not like he's been incredible these last 2 years. We've been having the same conversation since the beginning of last year.
yeah, not everyone can beat Tom Brady. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So
Yeah. Pliable man
but anyways,
himself.
yeah, one of the biggest injuries of the week is Chase Edmonds with that high ankle sprain, expected to miss multiple weeks. Basically, what this means is, I think, Jake, you picked him up, didn't you, in Dynasty?
Eno Benjamin, yeah. So Eno is he's a huge pickup, especially in Dynasty right now. Like, your waivers have already cleared, unfortunately. But if he's available, go get him because
He might be.
Yeah.
I mean,
So one of his biggest comps is Duke Johnson, like physically. So that's pretty big because he was kind of a PPR monster for a little bit there.
absolutely.
And he's somebody you'd want to have. And the way I looked at it, like I burned all my fab on this because I wanted to guarantee I got him. And it's something you got to consider when you do dynasties. I did feel stupid because the next highest bid was like $20, but
you should have felt really dumb.
I should have. You're right. But think about it this way. Would you not accept a deal right now for $150 your fab for him?
I would.
You
not.
wouldn't? Fab is meaningless in Dynasty. It's been meaningless.
Well, for me, it's just I put in a small bid because I don't know what's going to happen. James Conner has been so high with his volume, and that
but
I
it doesn't
don't
even
think
matter.
Eno is going to be very
It
valuable.
doesn't even matter to me. Like, to me, the reason I wasn't rostering Eno Benjamin is because there's 2 running backs there and Kyler Murray right now doing work. Nobody else seemed to want him.
How old is Eno Benjamin?
He's 22, 23.
Is he? Interesting. Okay, see, I didn't know that. I
that's
thought he'd
why
been in the league for a while.
No, that's why I'm saying he was worth it. He was worth the money because, look, I did overpay. The fact that I could have gotten for cheaper sucks, but it is not. I would have paid the amount that I put out.
Okay. I mean, I do think it's fair. I think Chase Edmonds has been underwhelming this year for such a good team. Yes, there's a lot of mouths to feed, but I expected a PPR running back like that, even with Kyler, to be, I don't know, a top 12 option, and he really hasn't been, and I just don't see.
I think a top 12. I think top 12 is expecting too much.
Maybe, and I think it was. Those are my expectations.
For me, looking at that backfield was always like, well, if one of these guys gets the work, that's going to be crazy. And worst case scenario, they're a spot start. That's the thing. Like, you always knew they were going to get work. It'd be something to watch for sure. I think definitely get Benjamin if he's on your dynasty waiver wire for sure.
I still will say don't expect him to get the touchdowns because James Conner has clearly solidified himself as that goal line back at this point.
He's the guy, but you know what? I'll take, a couple catches and some rushing attempts. That's like,
if you have multiple flex leagues like our dynasty league, yes, he's a great option for sure. Russell Wilson has been cleared to play in Week 10 against the Packers. The doctor performed Wilson's surgery last month, has given him the all clear. So yeah, I mean, that's a huge bump for fantasy value of Lockett and DK Metcalf if he starts and actually can throw a football. So if anyone can start with a recently surgically repaired finger, I think it's going to be Russell Wilson. Yes?
Yeah. I mean,
sure.
You haven't had him for a couple weeks. Probably not great.
Yeah, Dylan, put him in your lineup, buddy.
Yeah.
Sam Darnold, scapula. That just reminds me of, what's his name from Jimmy Neutron? He's like, my scapula, Carl.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say Sheen.
Do you know?
I
what
thought you were gonna
talking
say
about?
Sam Darnold looked like Sheen because he does kind of look like Sheen.
He does kind of look like just a dweeb human being. Yeah. He's gonna miss 4 weeks. He's been put on the IR. That means PJ Walker, who's made one NFL start, will be throwing the ball to Christian
Somebody
McCaffrey.
said he got a fracture in his scapula, which means he can't even complete a break.
A break?
Yeah. He can't even complete the break in his scapula.
Is that a joke?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't get it.
Because he
My
can't
brain
complete any
doesn't work
passes.
anymore.
And he fractured the bone.
Oh.
You see?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess are we going to give him the excuse that his scapula hurts, or are we just going to say he sucks?
I think he's just bad.
I think he's bad too. Chris Carson has been designated to return to practice. Pete Carroll says he will be on the field. What field does he mean? Is he going to be on the sideline, on the practice field, or the actual NFL field against the Packers, Jake?
I think he plays. They've been pretty cautious with him coming back. He's wanted to come back actually sooner. So, I mean,
I hope he plays.
I hope you don't have to start
I have him in
but
my. I mean, I have Kamara and I have Damian Harris and I have Chase Edmonds in my Yahoo Winners League and I have Chris Carson. Those are my running backs and they're all hurt.
Jeez.
Every single one. I'm in 5th, so if I can get 4th place, I have a chance. But I'm trying because I don't want to give up. But I mean, I'm not looking too good.
You just need to make
right
6th.
Now. No, in a 10-man, it's 4th.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yep, that's rough. But Derrick Henry is expected to miss 6 to 10 weeks at the very least, which basically puts him back week 15 at the earliest. He's not going to come back in week 15. It makes absolutely no sense for the Titans to do that because they are going to win their division and go to the playoffs. So he's done for the fantasy season, basically. You need to have other options, and the Titans' backfield is tough. It's going to be tough if you need to stream those running backs, but you might have to if you lost Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you're going to have to. The good news is, 10 to 15 attempts from either Peterson or McNichols is still, it's something.
Dante Foreman, I think his name is Deontay or
Dante
something
Foreman.
Also got some work. So it's a very murky backfield. It's a lot like the Eagles right now.
I'm going Adrian Peterson. He's got the most experience. They clearly trust him. He got the goal line work. So,
would you say that Adrian Peterson is like a 99-cent James Conner right now?
I would say Adrian Peterson is the kind of player you put in your lineup and just feel upset that your season's at that point.
Well, I'm doing it because I'm trying to trade Antonio Gibson right now. Okay. Saquon Barkley is on bye this week, but he should be back in the workhorse role week 11 against Tampa Bay Monday night. It's really not the matchup you want him back for, but if you do have Saquon and you're in contention, you're probably going to put him in your lineup week 11.
I'm hoping. that I can get a sneaky trade out of here.
Don't give away your strategy.
No,
right
it's
here.
okay. This person doesn't listen to the podcast. I know for a fact because they barely pay attention in the league. It's in my work league. So they have Saquon, and I've been trying to get them off of them for the whole season, but they don't really pay attention. So I'm hoping if
You're going to have to physically call this human being.
I'm hoping
on the
if
phone.
Saquon comes back against the Bucks and sucks, I can steal him.
It's worth a try. That's what I did with Eckler last year.
Yeah.
Is I grabbed him off Truman like toward the very end of the season, right before the trade deadline. And he helped me, but obviously still didn't win the championship thanks to Jake kicking my ass in the playoffs.
Because I started David Johnson over Jonathan Taylor.
Well, no. Well, that was in the championship, but I'm saying
you're right. You didn't even make it.
The week before, no, I didn't make it, but the week before I was on bye because I was the first seed. Eckler went off, and then the next week when I actually played you, he did fucking nothing. So
that's fantasy.
Will not be activated off the IR this week against the New England Patriots, but yeah, Jake. So, do you have any? Do you have Kareem Hunt in any?
No,
leagues
but
or
I did have D'Ernest Johnson, and I dropped D'Ernest Johnson somewhere else. So
same.
Unfortunate.
Just picked him back up again, though.
Yeah, I don't think he's still available.
Yeah, and this week actually, we might as well talk about the Browns COVID situation. But Nick Chubb and Demetric Felton both tested positive for COVID. Both players are vaccinated, but with the COVID protocols where they have to have 2 negative tests within 24 hours, I think it's highly unlikely that either of them play, which leaves D'Ernest Johnson the only active running back on the Browns roster.
Yep.
Going against a tough defense in the Patriots, but that's an easy spot start for me. I would smash D'Ernest Johnson in there if you need to. Clyde Edwards-Helaire with that knee injury, he has been seen on the practice field on Wednesday. Andy Reid said he is closer to a potential return. We'll have to see how time handles it here in the next couple weeks. It's a weird quote. Did I write that right? I don't know. Either way, Clyde probably won't be back for a few more weeks. That's my take on that.
Yay.
The man who's had one good game in his entire career.
He's never been the RB1.
He sucks. They could have had Jonathan Taylor.
Oh, man.
Kyler Murray did not practice on Wednesday. It's been reported that his ankle is improving, but the Cardinals are kind of keeping him out due to his long-term health because obviously they are like 8-1 right now, so there's no reason to throw Kyler Murray out there when they're beating the brakes off of fucking San Francisco with Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy,
who did great. Good for him.
I hope they sit him this week too because I'm playing against him.
Trevor Lawrence should be fine this week. There was a little bit of a scare. He got taken down last week, but I think he'll be okay. Tua Tagovailoa for the Thursday night showdown. I don't think he plays. It's a game time decision right now. You probably weren't going to start him anyway against Baltimore.
No. The Ravens absolutely maul them every single time that they go down to Miami.
Yeah.
Do you remember
the Ravens are going to demolish
Do you remember Lamar Jackson's opening week last year? Put up like 46 points on the Dolphins.
Freaking Hollywood Browns first game.
Yeah,
Holy
that was a
hell.
big one.
That was something. James Robinson hurt his heel. Urban Meyer expects him back in week 10, but I don't think he's a reputable source of information for anything. But he's probably going to be back in week 10. Let's be real.
Tough saying.
Zach Moss has a concussion. He missed practice on Wednesday. If he doesn't play, the Bills are playing the Jets this week. You should probably throw Devin Singletary in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For sure. That's a smash start to me. That defensive line is a wet paper bag. Like that's. I mean, really, you can like. They've been pretty good against quarterbacks, but against running backs, they've been just getting destroyed.
Damian Harris and Stevenson both did not practice in Wednesday's practice due to head injuries, concussions. So they're going to have to clear concussion protocol before a potential start on Sunday against the Browns. So J.J. Taylor is an option. Brandon Bolden is an option if you have to start a Patriots running back. We'll see if either of them end up playing. DeAndre Hopkins didn't practice Wednesday. He is day-to-day. A.J. Brown, this just came out, but was limited in practice on Wednesday with a knee injury. I feel like will probably be okay. Chase Claypool. Did you watch any of the Steelers game?
I watched some of it.
With
Yeah,
the
I
Bears?
watched some of it. Chase Claypool seems absolutely useless this year unless something's done about Big Ben.
Yeah, I really would have loved to get Deontay Johnson instead, but I've been stuck with Chase in
Yeah,
almost all my
baby.
leagues.
Because who took Deontay
Oh.
Johnson in front of you?
You know I was going to.
That's why I took him. You can never get someone for a better
Yeah.
price than right before they're going to take him.
I mean, you have
Dude,
to, even if it seems early.
Allie
If
did
you
that.
know someone's going to take
Allie did
him.
that for me with Lamar in our work league. I was so mad, but I could not be anything but proud. Because that's a great move.
Oh yeah, that's a pat on the back for
I was
Allie
like,
right there. Good job, girl.
Motherfucker. Oh man.
He guess he has a toe injury. He's getting an MRI on it today, meaning we're recording this on Wednesday. I don't have any new information, but just watching the game, he did like a few routes and went off the field, came back on the field, then he finished the game on the sideline. So I don't know. It sucks because I am forced to start him in my dynasty league due to Antonio Brown's injury, and it's like, you know, he's one of those guys who, like, he has to have a boom game, like deep throws from Ben Roethlisberger, which is just so unlikely right now that it kind of sucks if you have Chase.
The thing is, I bet once he starts getting regular work that isn't that kind of stuff, he's going to be such a stud. He's got such a prototypical build.
He's going to be great. It sucks because I'm so win now that I want to trade him, but it's a hard guy to trade right now because he hasn't really done anything this year.
Yeah, unfortunately his price has dropped drastically since the offseason.
Yeah, so I'm kind of stuck with Chase, and I have to start him.
Yeah.
But Antonio Brown did not practice Wednesday. He shed the walking boot, and there's no word if he's still riding his bike.
The one that he threw at a mailman?
I don't know if it's the same bicycle, but I know that last week he was riding the bike with the boot.
Okay.
But I don't know if he's capable of riding it without the boot right now. So I'm not sure, but we'll try to keep you updated on our Instagram stories if anything breaks on that. Okay, Jake?
I'm just finding out that he didn't throw a bike at a mailman.
Did we make that
No,
up?
no. He threw
What do you
his
mean?
bike. He threw his bike. Okay. He threw his bike at a security guard shack with someone in it.
It's like, wait, okay. A security guard shack, like at a parking lot
No,
or something?
kind of,
Where-
but I mean, you've seen like gated communities. Yeah, like that.
Was he riding his bike, or
I don't know.
did he have a car?
I don't
and,
know
like,
anything
the
else. I just found out it wasn't a mailman. You're asking me these questions?
So he threw it at a public safety officer rather than
something to do with a
government
camera,
employee.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, that's good. Man, can you imagine if he got a federal
that's
assault
worse.
charge?
Well, he assaulted I'm not going to say officer, but like a mall cop situation.
Yeah, I don't know if they have like capital offenses for assaulting a mall cop, unfortunately.
Do you think it was Kevin James?
I would give.
Imagine if Antonio Brown assaulted Kevin James.
Imagine if Antonio Brown starred in a film where he was Kevin James's nemesis.
I would watch
I would
that.
pay big dollars.
Would you fund that movie on Kickstarter?
How much money do I have to give?
$1,000.
No, that's pretty steep.
But imagine if you get all the royalties when it blows up and makes a lot of
if I
money
get
and
all
it's
the
like a hit on
royalties,
that.
yeah, I would do that for sure.
Well, you would let's say you get a portion of the royalties, like because like it's a very low budget movie. Antonio Brown, he probably gets like $2 million from it overall, but like you're getting some royalties every time someone watches it on Netflix.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
Yeah,
a great investment.
cool. Yeah, but you're kind of an asshole for investing in that because Antonio Brown kind of sucks. But
I mean, the Bucks
and you're
continue to
investing in a
invest in
Kevin
him.
James movie.
So does
which-
Tom Brady. Tom Brady continues to invest in him. So
That's a good point. Where are we? Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin apparently has a foot injury. According to Arians, his status is uncertain for Sunday, which really blows legitimate ass for me because I have him in like every league, I think, except one. So yeah, that sucks because I lost this week in Dynasty because I didn't have Chris Godwin and Tom Brady on my team. So if I go without him again, that's gonna suck.
yeah, that's not going to be great. Yeah, really, there's nothing you can do about that.
If you have Mike Evans, phew, good for you.
Ty Johnson is a great pickup in Dynasty right now.
Ty Johnson. Oh yeah, Tyler Johnson. Yeah,
Tyler Johnson,
definitely.
the Bucks wide receiver.
Will Fuller is going to miss Thursday Night Football. Who cares? T.Y. Hilton practiced Wednesday with a concussion. Well, I assume his concussion is no longer a concussion. That's why he practiced, so he's probably okay. He'll probably get hurt this week again, though.
Yep.
Michael Gallup is expected to play this week. Fuck. Can he just fuck off? Can Michael Gallup just get the hint that no one likes him?
But people do, and he's a really good wide receiver.
No, he's not a really good wide receiver.
Yes, he
he's
is.
Like, no.
Yes,
he's only on the Cowboys because he has a last name that has to do with like a horse.
That is absolutely not why.
I think that's why.
That's not
Corey Davis will make his return this week, Jake, to the Jets.
That's good.
Jarvis Landry missed Wednesday's practice. If he doesn't play this week, then Donovan Peoples' Choice Award is going to have quite the game. Whoever came up with that punt for the Ballers, I really wish I came up with it because that was a good one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, Dawson Knox should practice Wednesday.
I just want to flex a little bit. I picked up every single wide receiver on the Browns as soon as they traded, or as soon as talks about Odell Beckham Jr. started.
So you picked up Landry and
no, I couldn't get
Jones
Landry.
Jr.?
I couldn't get Landry, but I have Jones Jr., Richard Higgins, and there's another
That's
one.
not his name. That's not his name.
Oh, geez, you're right.
Donovan Peoples Jones Jr.
Donovan Peoples Jones Jr. Ricky
Seal.
Seals Peoples Jones Jr.
Dude, if they had a baby, imagine how many names it would have.
Oh my God, Donovan! And this is my baby, Ricky Donovan Peoples Jones, Ricky Seals Jones Jr.
Fryermuth. Okay. Yeah, Dawson Knox. Keep an eye out. Whatever, he might play, but they really do need him back in Buffalo. To be completely honest,
it's been apparent.
So, yeah, because it's I don't know if it's readily affecting Emmanuel Sanders' gameplay, but it certainly seems like it.
No, I think he's just old and bad.
Maybe. Gronkowski, we already talked about him. I would be very worried about his status, but it's very unlikely he's going to play in Week 10 with his rib injury, punctured lung, and back spasms.
Yeah, we already kind of talked about him, but...
We did. Logan Thomas says he is, quote, still sore. So, start the seal.
Start the seal. Seal team
Greg
6.
Greg Zerline, Jake, placed on the COVID reserve list.
Hey, guess what? I don't give a shit.
You don't care about Greg Zerline?
No, I don't care about Greg Zerline.
That's why I'm talking about it, because I know it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Coach Vic Fangio said Monday that Noah Fant is close to clearing the league's COVID protocols. He might play Sunday, Jake.
That's good. I know a guy in my work league who traded away Kelsey for Chase Edmonds and Noah Fant.
How'd that work out for him?
Well, you tell me.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Kelsey's been kind of shit until this week. So
He's dead last. And also, Kelsey is a tight end one guarantee every single week. There's no reason to trade him no matter what. Really, like, unless you are benefiting from the trade or need, like, heavily at another position, there's no reason to trade somebody like that.
No, you're stupid. Okay. Teams on bye this week. The Bears. So you don't got no Justin Fields, David Montgomery, Allen Robinson, Darnell Mooney. The Bengals, Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Tyler Boyd. The Giants, Daniel Jones, Tony, Galladay, Barkley, all hurt anyway. And Brandon Cooks for the Texans.
Yep. Yeah, that is the only startable asset. You're right.
Brandon Cooks. And that's it. Okay.
And Brandon Cooks.
And yep. So anyways, let's get into the matchup rewind.
Matchup rewind.
Jake, you lost the water bet.
Oh, dude, you're right. And it was so close.
How close was your work matchup to winning that
dude,
game?
it was brutal. I went to bed thinking I would win.
Oh, that's the worst part.
Dude, miserable.
Never go to bed.
Oh man, but sometimes I've gone to bed and then gotten huge games, so who knows?
I don't know.
It was 103 to 113. But I had Najee Harris, dude. I had Najee Harris, and I had the Steelers defense going. And really, it just
Najee on paper had a pretty solid game.
Not bad. 22 carries for 62. I mean, normally, yeah, I'm fine with 16.8 points in PPR. That's fine. But like, man, if he could have gotten 27 points, he got 7. They got 7 points. If Najee could have just had a big week and gotten me 10 more points, or if the Steelers D could have just, I don't know. They didn't even do bad though. They got 7 points. It's not bad for a defense.
It was a weird game too. That was just a weird.
I heard.
weird
Yeah,
game.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I heard it sucked.
Yeah, and the refs were really doing some bullshit. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, so Jonathan, that's me. I went 3-2 this week. I lost in Dynasty to Sam, our good friend Sam from the Redraft League, and I lost to you, Jake, in Redraft.
Yeah, get fucked, John.
Yeah, I got fucked hard fucking.
You got pretty destroyed in that week. I had a pretty good week though.
You definitely annihilated me. Let's
31
go
points.
take a look here.
To 83. That's the thing. You sucked. It wasn't even that I did that amazing.
I mean, to be fair, last week it was just a kind of a not a great week for fantasy for like the overall
in general. It was
value
pretty
of
low scoring. Yeah,
big players. But yeah, I mean,
pretty low scoring.
You had obviously Lamar Jackson went off for you. You had a pretty good week from Pittman, Kamara.
I just had a pretty decent week all around. Like this was just a good week.
131, like you really can't be upset with that in full PPR.
That's just a pretty good week. A lot of weeks that'll win you most matchups. So
I really did get screwed by obviously like I had Hawkinson on bye, had to start Morley Cox, didn't do shit. Boston Scott didn't do anything. Philadelphia Scott and Cortland Sutton laid an egg, even in a pretty good game against Dallas, where theoretically I would say they shut them out until the last like 5 minutes of that game, which was very shocking. So. Tough loss for me. In Dynasty, Jake, you won, didn't you?
I did, and that was a big win. I really needed a win there, because TJ's my main competition right now to kind of like get back into it, you know. Because I'm in 9th place right now, but I'm 4-5, and if I can just get to 5-5,
that would be huge because
That would put me likely in the playoffs or at least competing for a playoff spot.
Yeah, and looking at the standings, you're 1 game out of 4th technically. So
yeah,
there's no reason to give up. You really did need that win.
No, this is a league where it like you need to. If I continue to pay attention and do the right things, like I just got Benjamin. Like we could find out next week that he's a really good start for a couple weeks. That could be huge. I have Peterson. Like I paid attention to that. I saw that he was going to work out, and I picked him up right then because it's like. One thing that I think people need to remember or understand is like there are some assets that you hold on to in Dynasty that were on the waivers to begin with. Everybody has a full team. A lot of people are pretty locked into their team in Dynasty. Just drop people. Like, yeah, did I still believe that Blake Jarwin is eventually going to do something? Yeah. But I also know that Adrian Peterson's going to be more important right now.
If that's the thing with Dynasty, yes, it is a long-term thing, but you're trying to win a championship this season. What do you want to wait another 600 days to try to win next year? No, you want to get players to win now.
People treat it too much like you have to always be thinking of the future, and you do, but you also like no one. Unless the rest of your league sucks, you don't set up a 5-year run. You don't set up a three in a row. You know you're gonna win every year. Like you win a year and then you go for a back to back, or like you're in contention 1 year and like you can be in contention for 3 years or whatever it is. But like focus on getting a win. Don't
you want to have your starters? You want to have a starting roster that can win now. You can have plenty of players on your bench that are younger or they have a lot of potential. Like for me, I have Van Jefferson, Terrence Marshall, Jarrett Patterson, Dynamo Brown, Nico Collins, Josh Palmer. Like that's a lot of my bench is younger wide receivers that have potential. But my starters, like there's some older people. Tom Brady's my quarterback. Like
there's the waiver isn't as big in Dynasty, but that doesn't mean you can't use it to your advantage.
Yeah, I just wouldn't spend that much money on Benjamin, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I overspent on. Don't get me wrong. I overspent on him, but I would do it again.
Yeah, but the thing is, like everybody was going for him. They just didn't realize how much they would have had to spend. I mean, they would have had to spend a lot, almost all you spent more than I had in Fab. So
yeah, it's kind of reasonable. I don't know. I don't need to defend Benjamin again. I think he was a great pickup, and if you could trade all of your Fab right now for a 22-year-old running back that's about to get some work and could be the next in line.
You may have that is fair because Edmonds, James Conner, they're not going to be there next year or the year after.
They're not going to be there
maybe.
forever. And they've
Who
shown
knows?
with Chase Edmonds that they'll take a guy that's not a big name and work with him. And
they
like,
have
if
for a
he's
long
good,
time.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Chase Edmonds has been startable this year, and he was startable for some portion of last year too. So, I mean, not that I'm saying like, oh, go good, but like, I would spend all my fab on that if I knew I was going to get exactly what Chase Edmonds has done between, now and the middle of next season.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. If he can get you that kind of production, there's no reason to not do that. Because a running back, first of all, as a valuable asset in Dynasty, like, if you can get a valuable running back in week 10 of Dynasty, like,
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
That's pretty. That's
lucky.
what I was just saying. I was like, there's nothing else that's going to come up that I'm going to need any kind of money for. Like, I feel like a ton of these people in our league are going to roll over fab, and you can't roll it over. So
no, you can't.
So what's the goddamn point? I'm not gonna hang on to fab. Like, I want to go into every season with $0.
I guess for me is I'm really waiting for the weeks that like I have to win in like the playoffs or the weeks before the playoffs. Like, I want to be able to have fab for those very important weeks. Whereas right now I do have kind of a cushion with my record.
You're not going to get it. That's the thing though. No matter what, unless you save all your fab at the end of the season, there always is going to be somebody with more. That's like, unless you play in a very, very competitive league, and it's just, but there always is going to be somebody with more. So I don't know. I think you definitely got to be smart about what you spend it on, but don't be afraid to spend your fab. Just be smart
But also,
with
if
it.
you're in a league without fab, add fab because it adds so much more fun.
Oh,
to be
man,
honest with you.
I
am so happy we added it.
it adds a lot. I hate it because I was really good at finessing the priority and just making sure I was paying attention when I needed to. But anyway.
Yeah. Jake, and you also did win in the keeper league, which me and you are both 7-2 at the top of the league. I right now have the most overall points, but it's not by much.
And I outscored you by a lot this last week. So.
Yeah, you made up some ground for sure with those overall points because I was pretty far ahead. Logan's actually second in overall points, but you beat Dylan, and poor Dylan. I love Dylan, but his team has gotten massacred this year by injuries, and it's too bad. And then I beat Trevor by a lot. His team only put up 78 points, and I won with 117. Just not a great week for fantasy. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams in our league that didn't even score 100 points. That's terrible.
Wow, that's great. I mean, this was a bad week for fantasy anyway. So
that's full PPR. So honestly, like, if your team did bad, you are not. It's not just you. It's a lot of injuries and
this was
not great production.
Week. This was a tough week.
Unless you had James Conner. Congrats.
Yeah, if you had James Conner, this was an amazing week.
Okay. Jake, who is your dude of the week?
My dude of the week is obviously Jonathan Taylor. I mean, pretty sure RB2 on the week. He won
Behind
me my
James Conner,
yeah, he won me my weeks in every league I had him. So clear cut, obvious winner. The a little bit harder one for duds, Daniel Jones. Fuck Daniel Jones. 7.1 points. What is that?
That's pretty bad. I don't know.
Mike
that's
White
awful.
played one quarter and scored more points than him. I don't get it. Run the goddamn ball, Daniel Jones. Like, just run the goddamn ball.
That's the only reason he's valuable. And
that's the only reason he's remotely viable. I was like, oh, okay, come on. Like, yeah, he might only throw for 200 yards and a touchdown, but maybe he'll rush for, 65 yards and punch one in, or who knows. Like, but it's just not the case. It's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, to me, it's crazy because it's like, it's there for you. Like, why are they not utilizing him more? It just seems like the play calling there sucks. Like, it just seems like they're not like something's going wrong, because we've seen Daniel Jones be good. He's not bad. Kadarius Toney's back. He's good. I mean, I don't know.
He has really good weapons. It's just the team isn't healthy. I don't think overall, like, it's just not.
Maybe,
they don't have
when Saquon's back. Maybe this bye week and Saquon coming back. Maybe because they haven't looked bad. They won this last week. They still won. So
yeah, they fucked me in my Survivor football. Thanks. Another loss for me.
Yes.
Yeah, but Daniel Jones sucks this week, or last week at least. But my dude, Joe Mixon, man, just traded for him. 13 for 64 and 2 touchdowns, and 5 for 5 or 46 in the receiving game. He put up a lot of points, 28 points this week, full PPR. Like, I was really happy. That was like a 1 o'clock game. He had that kind of output. And then I waited, and Aaron Jones, my dud, fucked me, dude. I only lost by like 5 points in Dynasty on the week when I had a lot of players on bye. All my Buck stacks were on bye. I just needed Aaron Jones to have a pretty good game, and I would have won.
That sucks, dude. That sucks.
So, and Aaron Jones put up like 7 points.
Dylan had a great game.
Dylan had double digits.
13 points.
The issue is, like, Aaron Jones is a pass catcher, but at least with Jordan Love at QB, he seemed to want to throw it to Dylan a lot more. He was 4 for 4 for 44.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones is out there for almost twice the snaps, but he just doesn't seem to be utilized as much as you would expect.
Yeah.
So I'm not panicking, but I definitely want Aaron Rodgers under center now. Like, now, please. So, and in Dynasty, I have Mixon on bye this week. So if Aaron Jones doesn't produce, if Aaron Rodgers isn't playing, like, I'm definitely worried. If I put up another loss this week in Dynasty, that's not good for me. So
yeah, you definitely need to keep your streak going there, because there are some dangerous teams in there.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. Jake, why don't we talk about this week's matchups?
Talking matchups.
Shit. All right, Jake, in the Keeper League, you are going against the pretty much one of the few teams that is going to threaten you and I at the top of the standings. That is Logan, who's 6-3. You are 7-2.
I'm glad I'm getting him now, because he's got Mike Williams. So I don't know what happened, but if Mike Williams could just continue to not put up huge games, that would be fantastic.
Yep, that would be very helpful for you.
Yeah, so I need that. I don't think Damian Harris, it's Deontay Harris. Deontay Harris might have a huge game, actually. He got 8 targets against Atlanta, and Tennessee has been terrible against the pass. But then again, they have been pretty good at pressuring the QB. I really just need Taylor Heineke to go off.
Are you worried about James Conner this week? It's Carolina. They have a good defense.
Carolina has a pretty solid defense, and I think that at this point, after last week, they're going to be cued in on him a little bit.
Mm-hmm. They kind of have to be. Otherwise, your game planning sucks, Carolina.
Right. Especially without Kyler Murray. Like, if Kyler Murray doesn't play and they still allow that to happen, I'll be pretty shocked.
We really cannot discount how strong your lineup is. Like, I
love this lineup. I wish I could start it in every league.
Your quarterback is the only weak point, and like streaming quarterbacks is a very well known strategy at this point. You're starting Taylor Heineke against Tampa Bay. Are you sticking with that, or I don't know if you're picking up someone else?
Taylor Heineke's starting for me this week.
Yeah, I mean, you have some great players. I mean, Darren Waller, Jonathan Taylor, Eckler, Deontay Johnson, Jefferson, Swift. I mean, Tucker, you're the best kicker in the league.
Yeah, I was just about to say, dude, he was on the waivers this morning. I don't know who dropped him.
Really?
Somebody must have dropped him for their bye.
I feel like Allie had him at one point. Or did she have Butker? I don't know.
I don't know, but that could be possible.
You are going against the best kicker in the league, though, right now, Nick Folk. So
is he number 1?
I think he is number 1.
Could it be because the Pats are so lukewarm good?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that is correct.
Yeah.
For me this week, I'm going against Tyler, who's 3-6. He's got Damian Harris, who might not play, Ezekiel Elliott, Cole Beasley, Tyler Lockett, Julio Jones, Josh Allen, who's been a train wreck lately, but he is playing the Jets this week, so I'm sure this will be his comeback game. But Dak Prescott, Pittman, Lamb, McCaffrey against Arizona is a tough matchup, but I really pray to the love of God that PJ Walker can feed McCaffrey, because what else is he going to do? What else is he going to do?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but just give the fucking ball to your best player.
Man,
like,
I hope that he goes out there and rushes for like 150 yards and McCaffrey sees nothing.
Yeah, I hate you, but that is not if McCaffrey doesn't go off this week and get me 40 points, I'm going to be really, really fucking pissed, because I've gotten 4 games out of McCaffrey in 1.5 seasons. That's not okay.
Sorry, John.
Yeah. Gibson, I have playing. Kelsey, I mean, Chris Godwin, if he doesn't play, I'm going to be really pissed. But fortunately, I have Debo on the bench. I could start him against the Rams. That's tough. But yeah, I think I'll beat him. I really do. I don't think Tyler's team is that great. So
yeah, I don't think I think it'll be fine.
What are you looking at in Dynasty?
in Dynasty, so I'm playing against Connor.
Oh shit!
I think I got this win actually. I primarily just because his team's pretty banged up right now. It really, if he doesn't get Kyler Murray this week, I think I got him.
You need this win. You really need this win, and you need to give Connor a loss.
Yeah, I need this win because if Connor's 5-4, so if I can bring him down to 5-5, that would be really huge because that's one more matchup. And then the nice thing is there's none of the other 5-4 teams are playing each other, so it's possible for everyone to lose.
Wow, that's actually crazy. And fortunately, like a team like Tyler, who's 5-4, is going against Sterling, who has a very strong team.
Yep.
He's 6-3. You don't really care if Sterling wins or loses at this point. He's not your competition.
Right. I need you to win this week. I need Frank to win this week, and I need
Austin.
Sterling to win this week.
You need Austin to win too, but I don't think he will. That's brutal. His matchup looks brutal right now. I do have to go against TJ this week, who has guys like Melvin Gordon, Ty Johnson, Tyreek Hill, Debo,
but he
Darren
just
Waller.
lost. He just lost Edmonds.
So he has to start a Jets running back against Buffalo. So that's pretty null at this point. I don't think he's going to do anything.
Yeah.
And I kind of hope Russell Wilson doesn't play, but it looks like he's trending in the right direction, unfortunately, for me. And I hate to say it because I do have Debo in my keeper league, but I think Debo is about to regress with Kittle in the lineup and possibly a quarterback change coming up here.
Yeah, and Ayuk has
don't
been
think
getting a
it's
little bit more involved too, like compared to the beginning of the season.
Yeah, exactly. That as well. Ayuk's been looking good.
Unfortunately, like Debo is, I don't know, for me, never made sense as a great dynasty ad because he plays very aggressively. He's hurt fairly regularly, and you can't really call his big. I mean, you can call his big games because it was pretty much when is he not hurt, but like, yeah, I don't know. He's never been a real high dynasty asset for me.
No, not in Dynasty. He does have that nagging calf injury. It doesn't seem to stop him. The man will run through just about anything if you allow him to do it.
Goddamn truck.
I think he would. But I do have guys like Cordero Patterson, Najee Harris, Aaron Jones needs to come back for me this week. But, you know, I am worried about Claypool. I'm worried about Devonta Smith. But fortunately, he did have a good week last week. If I had started him, I would have beat Sam. So I think I have to start him this week.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We'll see. I think I could pull out a win against TJ this week. It's very possible. And redraft, the league where we're both pretty much on the outs. It's tough.
Oh, man, I'm fighting to make it so you have to star in the music video in that league.
I am in 9th place. I am. Oh shit! No, I'm 2 games back at this point. I don't think it's gonna happen. Now.
I think you have a you could still get it. You could still steal 6th.
I could, but it's. I think the 1 through 5 is pretty
out.
solid.
I'm out. There's no like I would have to win out from here on out and have some other things fall into place.
Yeah, Ethan did lose Derrick Henry, and that might push him out. Who knows? Maybe he'll just tank and lose a couple games. Although he did win this week without Derrick Henry. I don't know. It's tough when you're on the outs. You really have to hope for a lot of things to go right. So, I do play Brianna this week. Gronk's new groove. She's got Marvin Jones, who's been dog shit lately. Aaron Jones, McKissick's our RB2. She's got Gronk in there. He's probably not going to fucking play.
She tried to trade me a kicker for Dan Arnold.
Oh, yeah.
I sent it to her, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it for your Justin. Like, she had Justin Tucker and somebody else. I was like, so hold the fuck up. You've got 2 kickers. You want my tight end, and you're not going to let me just pick from your kickers? Like, there's no context where I wouldn't just do that deal. Tucker for Arnold.
Oh, she didn't want to offer Tucker?
No, she wouldn't give me. She said no. She's yeah.
Are you kidding me, dude?
I was like, first off, I didn't even like. I don't know.
That should never even be part
indulged
of a trade.
I indulged the question because I was like, okay, like let's see what you're asking about my kicker that's on bye that I haven't dropped yet. Like, okay, what's up? And yeah, I was like, wait, you're gonna come here, ask for my tight end, not give me Justin Tucker?
Those type of. Just the amount of different people we play with in fantasy. Someone who's willing to trade a kicker and actually be
somebody who's willing to inquire about someone else's kicker.
Yeah,
Dude, I would never.
That's
I would
just crazy to me.
My first assumption is, oh, this person hasn't swapped out their kickers yet. Of course, he's not going to trade for a kick. Like, I don't know.
No, but apparently not.
That's
It's like crazy.
Hey, I would have, dude. If she'd, I sent her the offer of Arnold for Tucker.
I'm sorry, but I would have had to veto that. I'm sorry, but well, to be fair, Tucker is probably a better option than Arnold, so maybe not. I don't know.
That's a fair trade. That's a fair trade to me.
So why
like
is
it's
that
a
happening?
I don't know. It's a stupid trade to me. Like I think it's
That's so
like
stupid.
I don't know, but yeah, I would have just picked up.
Oh man, he's no Nick Folk. I mean, let's be honest.
No, I want Justin Tucker.
Hey, at this point, I would love to beat Brianna this week. I have Claypool, Godwin, Cousins, Dalvin Cook, and James Robinson. Hawkinson's back. I mean, I could probably beat her, but if I win this week, 4-6, maybe some other people lose. Who knows? Maybe I can make a run, but I'm not really holding my breath. What are you looking at in redraft? You're playing Ian this week.
Yeah, it's a tight matchup. I mean, at this point, I might as well spend this time where we talk about this league talking about what I'm going to do for the music video, because it's either going to be with you, it's going to be me, or it's going to be Frank, who I've already agreed to do it for in exchange for Peter. So
it's just astonishing because you have such a good team.
Every time this is an amazing. I'm happy that I had this happen when we started this podcast, because it's important to talk about the fact that you can do a ton of planning. You can know as much as anybody about fantasy football and just get screwed. Or you make a bad call here or there, and it really fucks with the rest of your season. I mean, I could have won one of these matchups. I could have won one of these matchups already this season, and I would have been above you and Frank right now, and would have been in contention for playoff.
Yeah, it really is. I
didn't start Deontay Johnson, and that was it. Like it was just a bad call. I forgot who I started over him, but
I think it was DJ Moore.
I think I started
or something like.
I don't know who it was, but it was basically like, oh, he's just coming back off injury. Like, I think.
Look at you picking up all the Falcons receivers. Russell Gage, Zacchaeus. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I figure why not?
Yeah, why not? Kirk might be a good. I don't know.
If one of them pops off, man. I thought I could trade both, like him and Kirk, for somebody else's actually good wide receiver.
I think you will beat him this week. I think you beat Ian. I really do. I mean,
I think I have a good shot.
Antonio Brown, who's not going to play this week. I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's tough, man. Redraft, I've given up at this point, but looks like I shouldn't, because who knows? Maybe I'll make the playoffs, sneak in there. Okay, Jake, let's get into the TFD mailbox.
Fantasy Dudes Mailbox.
This is probably one of my favorite segments.
Yeah, this is fun. This is a good one. This is from Tyler from our Dynasty League. Is Jonathan Taylor going to finish as the PPR fantasy running back, the number one PPR fantasy running back this season? You're asking Jake, who is a Jonathan Taylor fanboy, probably one of the biggest ones.
I think if Jonathan Taylor could be like the RB1 plus, or like the RB1A, I think I would give him that, because he's just that good. He's just so much better than everyone else.
And I do think it actually benefits him that it's a very minimal timeshare that Naheem Hines is on that team, but it does keep him fresh. Jonathan Taylor, who has those young legs regardless,
Dude, I was reading a lot of stuff that people were saying when people were scouting him about how much of a workload he had in college, and how people were like, oh, he's not going to be good. The man showed up. I mean, he has been incredible. I could not be happier to have him.
He's got a great offensive line. We can't discount that.
That's true. He's got a great offensive line, and he's actually had some pretty good, like, I feel like people aren't saying enough about Carson Wentz.
He's been a great quarterback this year.
He's been pretty good.
I mean, the team overall, I mean, not great. They're not going to make the playoffs, but I mean, for fantasy, a team, when it comes to the Colts, last year at least, I was like, this team is so fucking boring to watch. I cannot stand watching.
They're fun now.
Phillip Rivers, but yeah, they're Pittman.
Fun, yeah.
Hines is even kind of fun to watch.
Pittman, dude. I love Pittman. I'm sad I don't have him anywhere where I will get him next year. Like, I don't have him keeper or dynasty.
He's gonna probably be my keeper, or one of my potential keepers.
Yeah, I don't blame you. What'd you get him for? 14th?
A 9th round pick.
9th round. Yeah, that's. Yeah. I mean, still, that's bad. That's pretty sweet.
It's not bad, Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I do think Yeah, sure. I mean, if he stays healthy at this point with the pace he's on, I think he could be number one. Absolutely.
Barring, any of the concerns you have about any running back ever, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he will be. This is from a friend of mine from high school, Thomas. He said, "How do you sabotage your opponents in the playoffs?"
Wait, let me tell the story. Let me tell it. So
okay, go ahead.
So
I have some thoughts.
My second year of playing fantasy football, right? Yeah, my second year because I was in Sam's league for. So I made it to the playoffs.
Am I part of this story?
No, because you weren't in it.
Okay,
you weren't in it.
All right.
You weren't in the league at the time. So, so I started Lamar Jackson that season. That was a unanimous MVP season, most fantasy points by a quarterback ever.
Got him in,
and that
the 14th
league
round or something.
Yeah, I got him in the 14th round of both leagues. But that league actually was a week 17 playoff, when that meant that you were playing when a lot of people were benching players. So I got Lamar Jackson benched, and I think I had George Kittle
benched. That was the year that they went to the Super Bowl for the 49ers. So yeah.
So that was pretty rough. I had advocated at the beginning of the season for changing that at the time. Just putting that out there. But so I went in and I saw, my championship matchup opponent also needs a tight end. And here I am, not going to have to play another matchup after this. Can't start Lamar Jackson anyway. Can't start George Kittle anyway. I just dropped everyone on my bench and picked up every top option at tight end.
That's really smart. Do you remember who he ended up having to start?
I don't remember, but I do remember getting 0 points from my.
Okay, well, either way, so did he apparently.
Yeah, no, I won. That's how it turned out. I won, but the whole the whole league was up in arms about it as this like shady strategy and like being a bad character move. But if you ask me, I think that's stupid.
That is dumb as shit. You have a roster.
It's a game.
Available space. Use it.
It's a game. The other player can do exactly what you could do at every single turn.
Yes.
I agree. Like, in a lot of times I would be like, oh yeah, no, like that's a bad, like there are things in football that you can do that are in bad faith and are, not good. But
as the commissioner, I will say I have a lot of power and I could probably get away with some shit that nobody would realize. But
I don't think you could, especially in Sleeper. Sleeper gives like very apparent notifications.
That is fair, and Yahoo does too, but it's a little bit less noticeable unless you have notifications on for some reason. But what I'm saying is, like, you need to use everything at your disposal to win your matchups, especially in the playoffs. I mean, if you can get any type of advantage, whether it be just, something I was going to mention is like, look at the opponents that your players are going to be facing down the line and adjust your team accordingly. So you have players on your team that have easy matchups in the playoffs.
I just did that for our keeper league, where I knew, okay, I'm going to make the playoffs at least here. So I have my defenses and I have my quarterbacks, because those are the two positions that I don't have locked down completely.
Yep. Really smart. I mean, you need to at this point, yes, in the first half of the season, it's week to week. You really want to get through every single week, and yes, that's still a thing you want to do now. But if you are in playoff contention, you need to be thinking ahead. Make some trades before the trade deadline. Get somebody that maybe they're injured right now. They're going to come back. Jake's trying to get Saquon Barkley. Do that.
Yep.
Get someone like that on your roster that someone is going to give you for a discount right now that will give you that benefit in the future and help you win your playoff matchups.
Yep. I think another buy now candidate. I don't know. What do you think about Antonio Gibson?
I'm trying to get rid of him, to be completely honest with you. And it sucks because he has a really good schedule, weeks like 14 through 16, but am I willing to lose games because my RB2 isn't doing anything right now? Not really.
Yeah, unfortunate.
I want to get that first round bye, and now I have the potential of doing that, and that's why I'm willing to trade away Kelsey and Gibson to get a Leonard Fournette and a Mark Andrews or something like that. That's what I'm willing to do.
Wow, Kelsey and Gibson for Leonard Fournette and Mark Andrews is not a trade you would have heard at the beginning of this season.
Nope, but it's something that I'm more than willing to do to win. to keep that first round bye. I mean, it's huge. Didn't help me last year. Still lost in the semis, but you never know. So think about those trades. It's that time of the year where if your league has a deadline, it's either already passed or it's very close.
It's coming up.
All right. Well, that is going to be it for the TFT mailbox. We're moving on to week 10 of survival football here, Jake.
Wow.
Survival football.
Survival football.
Survival football.
Yeah, let's go.
Jake,
football.
you're 7-2. I feel like it. I don't know what it
You're
is,
a
man.
moron. That's what it is.
I can't pick matchups, and I think you're almost guilting me into picking the matchups I don't want to pick.
Maybe. I am
That's
pretty good at doing
least
that kind of
twice.
stuff.
So here's the thing. I'm not going to give you any help this week.
Yeah.
Just pick your pick, and I'll pick my pick without any fucking influence from you.
I'm going Steelers.
Steelers, God, I hate you. Against the fucking Lions. That is just cruel.
That's a good pick.
You want the Lions to lose again? That's mean, Jake.
Correct.
I think the Lions are going to
I
win
want them to have to come from behind and then still lose because I want DeAndre Swift to score like 2 touchdowns in garbage time.
This is probably going to happen, to be honest with you. All right, Steelers is Jake's pick. I'm going to go with... Oh, man.
You might as well just throw it away anyway.
At this point, I'm 4 games behind you. It's going to be really hard for me to come back unless I win every week and you lose every week.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Colts this week against Jacksonville in Indianapolis.
I think that could actually be an upset. Genuinely. I mean, the Jags look pretty good last week.
They didn't though. They didn't even they got one touchdown and the Bills just laid an egg. I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen again. The Colts have a good offense and their defense kind of sucks, but I mean, I don't think Trevor Lawrence is going to throw on them.
We'll see. I don't know. It could go either way.
I'll probably be 3-7 next week. I mean, let's be honest, but
yeah.
Okay. That is going to do it for this week's episode. Check us out at Those Fantasy Dudes on Instagram and Facebook, thosefantasydudespodcast.com. Check us out on YouTube. I do have all of our episodes up there right now. Subscribe to us on there because at some point we may have a video element of the show when I move back to another state, potentially.
You can see our handsome faces.
Yes, you can. And you can see our new handsome faces on our artwork, new cover art.
That's right, on Instagram and Facebook.
That's us. Those are actual people that we exist.
We are not disembodied voices.
Exactly.
Yeah.
New episodes every Thursday now. Look out for those episodes on Thursday. That actually gives me a chance to breathe and upload this tomorrow. So that's what we're going to be doing. Because I have an episode of Survivor to watch at 8 o'clock. Yes, I do. Start and sit decisions Sunday mornings with Jake on our Instagram story.
I'm so sorry I missed this last week. I didn't do it this last week.
Okay, maybe it just isn't going to happen because Jake can't seem to do his one obligation of the week.
I'm so sorry. I meant to do it. I really did. I've done it every
one
other
person
week.
that maybe would send in a question. Yeah,
dude, that's cool. That's part of it. Is if I can get one question every week.
If we had 500 people vying for your help, then I'd be up there too, and maybe we'd hire someone else. Who knows? Either way, thanks again for listening. Good luck in your Week 10 matchups. Unless you're going against me, then eat shit. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Those Fantasy Dudes podcast. Make sure to tune in next week and follow us at Those Fantasy Dudes on Instagram.